Cruise news time. Well, look, we all are worried about cruise lines nickel and diming us to death. Well, Carnival has a new charge out right now, and it's for fighting. It's for fighting another. I'm just kidding a little bit. There is a new financial penalty for breaking the code of conduct on Carnival, and it includes a lot of things. I got to tell you all about this. Also, the CDC, they're really backing off travel and COVID. And it's interesting, a big announcement coming out from the CDC today, and I don't know what conclusions to draw from it. Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news and views for a Tuesday, October the 4th, 2022. Let's jump into the cruise news. Let's swing back to a couple stories yesterday. The big story yesterday was that Norwegian Cruise Line had dropped essentially all of its health protocols unless a location deems it necessary. Now, I didn't call that out very well in the video, so I just wanted to add some clarity to that. Currently, Bermuda still has requirements. Greece still has some requirements. But as we talked about a couple days ago, Greece has been removing requirements to the point that Carnival says you don't need a test to do their Greece cruise. And we know that toward the end of this month, Bermuda is dropping its health protocols. We talked about that a few days ago also. So yes, right now, if you're on a Norwegian cruise to parts of Europe and to Bermuda, you may still have to fall under some of these protocols. But for the majority of the Norwegian Cruise Line cruises, there is no more requirement. You can cruise unvaccinated and untested and vaccinated and untested, and no protocols anymore. They're ready to rock and roll. I think it'll play a little bit into the CDC story that we're talking about. But yeah, I just want to make that clarification that Norwegian Cruise Line, again, they have dropped it. Somebody pointed out that Viking had also dropped some of their health protocols, and they were really the first ones out of the gate. Certainly, Viking is a player in the game, but not really one of the big three or the big four yet. And so the big thing is that we have one of the big three, big four dropping their health protocols. Will the other ones follow? Nothing's changed overnight. Also, in yesterday's show, we talked about crew members removing their mask on Royal Caribbean. I got a lot of great confirmation from you guys in the comments that you've been on Royal Caribbean ships where masks have been optional for crew members, not only in their own personal places, but also in guest-facing places. So that's good. It does seem like we're returning to some sort of normalcy when it comes to masking. And then there's always one or two outlier comments, at least where we're at in COVID right now, always one or two outlier comments saying, it's too soon to do this. There's still people getting sick from COVID. That's certainly true. COVID is something that we will be living with forever. And the question always has been, when will that rise to a level of normalcy, a level of this is something that we're living with? And again, that's going to play into the CDC story. We got to talk about this Carnival nickel and diming for fighting. I keep saying that tongue-in-cheek just because it sounds funny in my head. But of course, we'll save that Carnival story till the end because it's the juiciest morsel on the turkey leg, as it were. I don't really like turkey. Are you guys big fans of turkey? My turkey has to be moist. Are you fans of the word moist? I don't like a dry turkey leg. I tell you what, I've been to many of a Renaissance festival, and a dry turkey leg will turn me off quicker than a knight that's quickly dismounted during the jousting tournament. Do you like the falconer? I like the falconeer. What are they called? I like the people that have the birds of prey. All right, cruise news story, this one. Let's talk about the CDC. The CDC's been quiet lately as COVID has continued to run its course. But they do have an announcement today. They're coming out and saying they will no longer be issuing country-by-country COVID-19 warnings. These COVID-19 warnings were somewhat the signposts that we looked at during the height of the pandemic to say that the cases were up in this country, the cases were up in that country. There was a time where the CDC basically said don't go to any country because there were COVID warnings. They're like, well, look, we're out of the country COVID warning system. We will reserve our warnings for some sort of anomaly, like if there's some big spike or something like that, something where it's outside the norm, then they'll come back and give a warning. So the country-by-country warnings are going away. And I do think that is a prompt for the conversation. Where are we at with COVID in relation to, we see all these cruise lines dropping their protocols. It is true that on land there hasn't been health protocols for many months now, probably half a year or more. And so to me, it makes sense that the cruise lines are now lining up with that. COVID is at a different place. There's a lot less people dying. There's still people dying, but it is almost in that normalcy range, which, of course, on an individual basis, it's not normal for your loved one to pass away from COVID. No insensitivity to that. But if you're looking at the macro, at the society macro, we're at the place where COVID is almost normalized. There is a new booster out, and I am on the fence whether or not to take it. And so our experience with the vaccine and with the boosters have been good. We wore a mask when they told us to wear the mask. We got the boosters and the shots when they told us to get the shots. And we have been fortunate, and we have never tested positive for COVID. Now, I'm sure people that are vaccine deniers and all that other stuff will be like, well, that doesn't mean anything. You're just a lucky fat guy. But these would probably be the same people that said I should have got COVID because I was a fat person. But neither here nor there. We're now at this decision point. It's been a little while since our last booster. We know that these vaccines wane over time. We are at the place, and now the new booster is specifically designed for the Omicron variant, which is the dominant variant right now. I haven't decided whether or not to get the booster. We did get text messages from, I think it was CVS or Walgreens, wherever we got the last shot, saying, hey, you're eligible for the new one. Has anybody out there got the latest one? How are you doing with it? Are you thinking about getting it, not thinking about getting it? Let's have that fun conversation in the comments below. That's always an entertaining. Somebody give me a pure blood. I got to get a pure blood in the pure bloods, man. Just give me a pure blood comment, please, somebody. Yeah, but CDC basically continuing to step back from COVID as a crisis, more as COVID as a normal part of life. And that's where we thought it would all get. I don't know if that gives you any comfort or if that doesn't give you any comfort. The people that are out there saying it's too soon, I don't know how that makes you feel, but me personally, I've always been following kind of the lead of the CDC. I've had experience with the CDC before all this, and yeah, so there you go. I've been at that place for a while. When they said don't wear the mask anymore, I'm not wearing the mask. Yeah, I'm just doing the things, and I've been fairly fortunate so far, and hopefully that continues. But who knows? They're still uncertain why some people get COVID, some people don't get COVID. All right, there's that story. Now I got to tell you about the new nickel and diming. I got to quit saying. Carnival has added some financial penalties to violations of their cruising code of conduct. And I'm going to speak on it, and we're going to talk about it. But first, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Yesterday, also in the comments from yesterday's show, we talked about the fishermen who got busted for stuffing lead weights into walleye bodies. And a couple people asked me, well, have I heard about the recent poker scandal? I'm following that. That is fascinating. If you're a gambler, if you like poker at all, go on YouTube and look for this interaction. Just do poker cheating the last couple days or whatever. And then there was a whole chess cheating scandal where the Grandmaster, one of the greatest players, probably the greatest player in the world, Magnus Carlsen, and the cheating scandal is that the guy may have had a device implanted in his body using one of the openings in his body where he was receiving computer chess moves. I think that was one of the conspiracy theories. That's the extent that we'll talk about it. But there's a couple other big cheating scandals out there. I don't know why I always forget to mention this when I'm recording the show. It's always in the edit. But there's a live show tonight. That's right, a live show tonight at 9 p.m. I'll be answering your cruise questions. I'm not sure if Jenny B is going to be there yet or not, depending on what she has going on. So we have the live show for the big public group. But then we also have an exclusive live show tonight for our Patreons. So if you are with us over there on patreon.com/La Loca, $5 a month, you get extra live shows. We're having one of those tonight at 8 p.m. Less than 100 people. So if you want to come and have a little bit more intimate of a live show, pay the $5 and come join us on Patreon. But if not, come to the big public show tonight. I'll be happy to answer your questions about cruising and life and stuff like that. All right, I don't know why I forgot. Back to the edit. Bye. All right, so we know that recently Carnival has been getting a lot of press about fights on their cruise ships. People going toe-to-toe, fisticuffs, and this ain't organized boxing. This isn't a UFC match. This is just people on the Lido throwing down. And so it's a problem because now you've got people saying, wow, do I want to go on Carnival and possibly be in some sort of melee? What's the deal? How are we going to stop this? We did a show a while back where we said, what would you do if you were the boss? What would you do on Carnival? And a lot of people said and offered up what Carnival actually did. So I want to think that we did that. I'm just kidding. I don't think that we did that. I'm sure there's plenty of people over there at Carnival that had the same ideas that all of us. But they said, put some sort of punitive financial damages to people that break the code of conduct, and that's what Carnival did. They have changed their code of conduct, and now if you are violating the code of conduct, which is a variety of things, they're going to charge you $500, 500 bones. They're going to charge you 5 Benjamins for the fisticuffs or breaking the code of conduct. So there's probably multiple ways to break the code of conduct. So the beginning charge is the $500. Now beyond that, and I like this, beyond that, they're also going to charge you for security. So if they have to post a guard outside your cabin to keep you locked down after your fracas, then they're going to charge you for that. There's not a menu for that. So they get to determine how much the security costs. And then if they have to disembark you prematurely because of your fracas, then they're going to charge you for that also. So who knows? Will this dissuade first-time cruisers that may come on that want to have a fight? Will this dissuade people that are will somebody that you know have to get charged the $500? Will there have to be some big public spectacle of somebody that gets charged $500 and for a security guard? Is it enough of a deterrent? Is the threat in the writing enough of a deterrent to keep people from fighting? Or will that punishment have to be handed out before people will back off from the fighting? We love cruising. I want everybody to go on a cruise. I don't want to be exclusive as to who can go on a cruise because I think being on the sea is magical. And I think it's magical for everybody. There's something in our DNA that connects us with the water. Most of the world's water. Most of our body is water. And so I think there is value in going on the sea. But yeah, I guess there could be a learning curve for some folks as to how to act when you're in this micro society. I think sometimes we forget that. You see some of the selfishness play out on cruise ships where people forget that we all board a floating vessel on the sea and we essentially form a micro community and we all have to live in that micro community. And so it's... don't fight. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're going on a cruise, I don't know if you're watching this video, this is going to be my new advice for first-time cruisers. A lot of people ask, what should I do? I'm always like, make sure your travel documentation is in order and make sure that you look at the daily planner and try to do a couple of those things, but don't worry about doing all of those things. That's my first-time cruiser advice. I think I'm going to add to that, don't fight. Don't hit somebody who mouths off and don't mouth off and get hit. That's, I guess, I don't know. I have never been in a physical fight in my life. I mean, I think I got pushed around when I was a kid and maybe pushed back, but I've never been like in a fist fight. I think I mentioned it before. I was privy. I was like a second to a fist fight. I saw a guy get into an argument with another guy, a waiter get into an argument with a chef at a restaurant that I was working at, and they got into a fight, which I thought would be exciting. I was like, yeah, whip the guy. And then all of a sudden, my buddy punched this guy right in the face, and the guy basically passed out. Like, his whole jaw got rocked, and he slammed down onto the concrete, and I went, oh, that's pretty violent. That's not good. That's not really the way to solve anything. That was the lesson I learned back in the early 20s, but I've never been in a fight. But, yeah, it's stupid. Don't get in a fight. Be a lover, not a fighter. How about that? Some would say it's harder to be a lover than a fighter, but we all have our own set of skills. All right. What am I talking about? I'm going to get myself in trouble here on this show. But anyways, see, I've been on the land too long. I've been here 22 days, and I got another, 25 days until I cruise again. And I know some of you are, oh, poor you. But it's what I do. It's what I do. This is the life that I've created over the last 5 years, where now I don't have to be a landlubber if I do not want to be, where I can sail often. And, I'm trying to be responsible and get a bunch of stuff done before I return to the sea. I'm missing it. When's your next cruise? Leave a comment below. How long has it been? And look, no shade to people that haven't cruised in 2 years. I sympathize with you. My advice to you is go cruising. How about that? All right. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure enjoyed it. Can you tell? Can you tell that I enjoyed it? Do me a solid and hit the like button. And unfortunately, if you do not hit the like button, well, you're going to get assessed for just having a sour look on your face. You're going to get charged $500 for what some call the RBF. Do we know what the RBF is? Some people just naturally look salty. And so not only will you get charged for the fisticuffs, but if you do not hit the like button, you're just going to get charged for having a poor disposition. You're going to be charged for not being smiley. That seems crazy. Hit the like button. This is Tony for Lido, Loca, and until the next time, I'll see every one of you at some point in my life on the Lido. That's not true, but we'll try. Bye.